Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing episode 2 of the Keys of Marinus, which is called The Velvet Web, which I caught on to the title of really quickly. Of course, it picks up right after episode 1 with them finding Barbara missing and a little bit of blood on her little teleport thingy. Then they go inside, get blasted by this intense light and sound, which actually is irksome to me watching it. I was like, ooh, I see why they're in pain over it. I liked this episode a lot. I caught on really quick, much like Ian did, that something couldn't be the way it everything couldn't be the way it seemed. Anytime you find a society like that where, oh, we're just here to please your every whim and desire, immediately you know something's up. I'm like, okay, I've watched a lot of sci-fi, Star Trek, something's up. People never stumble onto paradise, and it turns out to be exactly what it appears. So that whole time when Ian's like, I wonder what the price is, I wonder when the bill's due, I'm sitting here going, nodding sagely. And of course that turns out to be the case. And once Barbara woke up and saw everything different than everybody else, I realized, okay, everybody else is seeing an illusion caused by the lights and sounds. And that is why the title has its name, The Velvet Web. You're like stuck in a web, like a fly in a spider web, but you don't know you're there because it's a velvet web. So you don't realize you're trapped. And that's exactly what it is. I even like the fact that the one guy who's kind of their liaison there, what he's wearing right here looks like a spider's web. That little bit right here looks like a spider's web. At least the version of it that they see, the nice, pretty illusion, has the spider web there. It's a nice little detail. And of course, Barbara. I love Barbara. She's such a well-written character, especially, I mean, she's a well-written character even by today's standards, in my opinion, but especially for the 60s, she really is a strong, independent woman. That's why anytime people are like, oh, classic Doctor Who companions were so, help me, Doctor. I'm like, have y'all seen Barbara? I'm not saying that never happened with them, but have you seen Barbara? Barbara's one of the strongest female companions the show's ever had. And she's great in this. How she tries to talk sense into him, how she gets away, how she befriends the other girl, which we find out is the guy from Part 1's daughter. I caught on to that once her and Barbara were talking, and she had the little thing right here. I figured that's what that was. Finding out that the other guy, that's been their liaison. My sinuses are really acting up. It's pouring rain outside. I don't know if y'all can hear it, but my sinuses are all over the place. Finding out that he actually worked with the guy from Part 1 and was also looking for the keys before he fell into the trap and got hypnotized. Finding out it's a bunch of... The city is controlled by a bunch of things that look like half snail, half brains. Like the back half of them look like a big brain and the front half looks like a snail. And they're highly intelligent, but they can't do anything physically. That's why they need the humans. They've subjugated the humans to act as machines to do everything. And I like the fact Barbara just starts smashing them when she gets away. She gets away from me and just smashes everything. I didn't expect them to die that easily. I didn't expect all of this part to resolve in one episode. So when they all start, and then the brains die, I was kind of like, oh, that's it? All right, cool. It does kind of feel... Excuse me. I've heard this compared to the Key to Time, where, the Key to Time is, instead of being one big story, the Key of Time really is 6 stories with a running theme, finding the keys. I've had people tell me that the Keys of Marinus is similar. And I'm curious if each episode of the Key of Marinus is kind of be its own thing, while still wrapped up in the narrative of the whole. Because episode 1 did seem like its initial thing, go get the keys, This episode actually felt very contained as a standalone adventure, a standalone episode. Instead of being part of a whole, it feels like its own individual episode, like the Androids of Terra or Stones of Blood. So that was pretty neat. I didn't expect everything to resolve so easily. But I did like the episode. I like episodes that do that, where everything seems blissful in paradise and it turns out not to be. Especially when they're seeing everything looking pretty, but it's really raggedy. I've seen that in other stuff. Like that Ryan Reynolds movie, when he takes his medicine, everything looks all pretty, and when he doesn't take his medicine, he sees the way it really is. But there's something else too. I can't remember. I was trying to think about what it was before I started shooting this, but there's another piece of fiction I've seen too where one group of people see everything as nice and shiny, but it's actually really dirty. I can't remember what it is. It's not clicking in my head, but it's been done in science fiction and other instances. And I do enjoy it here. It's a nice episode. All of the cast are doing a good job. The guest cast are doing fine. The main cast are doing well. Barbara is great. Hartnell's great. Ian's always good. Susan's okay until the ending. The cliffhanger with her panicking just because you hear noises. I'm sitting there going, "That's Susan!" And she's like, "Ah!" And I'm like, that's a terrible cliffhanger. The cliffhanger should have been when Ian was throttling Barbara. That would have made a great cliffhanger. But instead, the cliffhanger is just Susan. "Oh no, I hear noises. Ah!" Susan. But I did enjoy the episode. I'm actually looking forward to part 3. It's been interesting because my season 22 set came in, so I've been watching a lot of 6th Doctor. So I've been cutting back and forth between 6th Doctor and 1st Doctor, and that takes some adjusting to. So, The Velvet Web, part 2 of The Keys of Marinus. What do you think of it? I'd always enjoy hearing from you guys, so comment down below and let me know other things to do. Click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. There's a link to that in the description below. I want to give a shout out to 2 of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane and the 5th Doctor. They have continued to support me for several months, and I appreciate that. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me, and a link to my Amazon wish list down below as well. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.